So Heavy is the third studio album by American rock band L7. It was released in 1992 and peaked at 160 on the US Billboard chart. It was produced by the band and Butch Vig. And musically, the album is heavier than the band's previous recordings. L7.
I'm gonna jump straight in. First question is: Does it take a lot of cocaine to get that much energy up for your intro every episode? You know, like you take a deep breath, bricks are heavy, or is it just easy?
Well, as you know, well, I would say fairly dependent on cocaine just for my everyday activities, Brad. And so at this point, about 100 grams of cocaine just gets me through the day at the moment without, So before each show, obviously I have to hit it pretty hard,
just scar facing it, here in the studio, just below the microphones, a nice A-frame.
Scarface would be my regular, and to step it up for each show, obviously I've got to go above and beyond out of that rookie stuff and get,
It is. And it did supply, the title of your sex tape, Say Hello to My Little Friend, which,
it's obviously
that was a big seller.
It was a huge seller, really, to my surprise. But in hindsight, excellent work from myself, and so I'm not really, it's to be expected. I was a real fan for a homemade sex tape. It was the cinematography was just flawless, and who was the lighting guy? He just brought shadows and shade, like Dudley. Amazing work, like a true artist. Just crevices I never thought I'd see. It just made things look bigger too. Great work by Dudley and the cinematography. Great work, and obviously I'm a straight white male. And just you can't tell that I'm gay for pay in this one, can you? Like, I was just ripping into those dudes. You'd think I was a natural homosexual, but no, it was just purely doing it for the money.
I mean, it was down to the fact that you, as a director, could really help your actors relax, and it just put everybody in the right place. It just, relaxed openings, and honestly, having Dudley there as well, he was just openings. And Dudley's warm presence, just it really shines through on the screen. The work that you guys did, and I mean, I'm glad I was nowhere near it because the smell, I'm sure, was unbelievable.
It's disgusting. I mean, 50 dudes in one room. And we shot it in 3 hours, so you can just imagine. It was just fluids everywhere, Brad. Fluids everywhere. And none of us were gay. All 51 of us. Not one homosexual there. We were all just doing it for the $50. And the quality we put out, how we missed out on Oscars, I'll never know.
Honestly, I think about 47 of the guys fought you every step of the way, didn't they?
Well, they didn't actually realize what we were doing. As soon as we locked the doors, they were like, "Hey, what's going on?"
You just said, "Drink this."
Yeah. Many people think that was scripted. Yeah,
you sat them down and you watched an episode of the Cosby Show, and you had a few drinks.
Sure.
And
L7. Bill Cosby was obviously the executive producer of this. It was his idea, and he just sat in a big armchair. Yeah. $50.
Say no to the cause.
$50 is $50. Yeah.
Point two that you bring up, back on subject. If you've made it this far into the episode, welcome. Now we're going to talk some music. we may segue again later on. That is our show. Bricks Are Heavy by L7. I'm now surprised. 1992. All right, I knew this was in the grunge heyday, peak. But I didn't realise that this was produced by Butch Vig. Old Butchie.
Neither did I. Neither did I until I read it a couple of days ago. And when did you realise it? When I said it 5 seconds ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, the international young researchers that I have are not doing a very good job in informing me of the details.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You've you know, you're better at the research thing.
Yeah. I think we've covered this in depth before, that we both feel that Butch Vig looks like a caricature that someone's drawn of Paul McCartney, but in a slightly pedo kind of a way. That's what Butch Vig looks like.
Right. Yeah. A pedo Paul McCartney. Allegedly. Yeah. Butch, back off. Put the phone down.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, but this so 92. That's post Nevermind, right?
Yep.
Now Nevermind, big did big things, and even pre that you've got Gish, Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. Post that you've got Siamese Dream. I can't name any other Butch Vig productions off the top of my head, but I'd say for me, this isn't his finest hour.
Production-wise. Well, the interesting thing is that
don't for fuck's sake me already.
L7 were an LA-based band. Not all of them from LA, but they moved to LA, and one of them was an LA local. And they weren't really feeling the LA scene, and they heard about Seattle, and they went up there. And they said they loved it up there. They fit in quite well. And they were. I was watching the documentary L7 Bricks Are Heavy. It's free on YouTube. You can watch it. Someone's pirated it for us.
Yeah, I thought it was called "Pretend That You're Dead" or something like that.
Oh no, you're correct. You're correct. Pretend that we're dead.
Always.
And so I was watching that, and they were friends with Mudhoney and Nirvana and all those bands from the time. And when they were in the recording studio recording Bricks Are Heavy, Nirvana and all those bands were breaking out and were on the magazines and having huge hit records, and they were like, those are our friends. And they were like, we'll never get there. And they were sort of right. Yeah.
Number 160 with a bullet. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. I'd honestly, I didn't think I'd heard this band before. You know, I knew of them. They sort of come up in stories about, as you say, those other Seattle bands. You recommended it, and I thought, yep, great, all right, get to give it a listen. And it wasn't until hearing it that I knew "Pretend That You're Dead" or "We're Dead" or whatever it is. And I dig that song, man.
We're dead.
We're Dead. That's the one. I think that's a nice, catchy, poppy, hooky song. Well recorded, well sung. It's great. It's a good song.
Recorded in the same studio as Garbage recorded their first record that we reviewed.
Wow.
Smart Studios.
It was a one-word review. It's very short. It was Garbage.
Yeah. Well worth listening to that episode that we did.
The episode, yes. Listen to the episode on Garbage, but don't listen to Garbage. Don't give them any more publicity, any more listens. They don't need your money.
They hate you.
Yeah.
They're laughing at you.
They do, and they, you know, by putting out music that you shouldn't hear. But yeah, chucking it on, I'll let you know what I thought, right? Because it's what we do on a podcast.
I don't think anyone's really interested in what you think. They're just waiting for me to get going.
Okay, well, you go then.
No, you go first.
I pushed the button. We're going to get sued. No. You said you're going to go, so you go first. Because I would like to know.
No, I want to keep people in suspense. Like, we got to put the boring shit forward, which is you, and then I'll come in afterward with the exciting stuff.
What happens every episode is like Dan comes on, does this with that, Reads Wikipedia. We banter about, I don't know, some gay shit for a while. Then I give some insightful, deep depth knowledge and well researched.
Generally, you just rattle on forever and nothing really happens. Just get to it. Come on, hurry up.
Like, I'm an encyclopedia of musical knowledge and people want to hear it. And then we get to the end of the episode, and whether I've liked it or not, Dan goes, I love it. I love it. Best album I've ever heard. Oh, this is great. Top 10. It's going on my playlist. Rare.
Brad basically shits on everything. And then he'll pick an album that's crap. And he'll say he doesn't even like it, and then he rates it highly for some reason. Or if it's a good album, he'll say it's shit. Yeah. So what are you going to say? What are you going to say? This is shit?
Well, no, I'm not going to say it's shit, actually. Sorry to ruin it. So maybe you didn't like it, but I quite enjoyed this one. For a while. So
here we go.
Orgasm, chucking it on. It it hits. The whole album hits, and again, it's Butch Vig. He produces, well, even though I just said this wasn't his best produced. When he gets the sound, you've got that for the album, right? It doesn't really detour side to side. And the best way of describing this would be Soundgarden meets early Nirvana meets, I don't know, what's a chick band? Give me a chick band. I don't know, the Bangles. Is that fair? We go with the Bangles. So yeah, real sludgy girl rock, real basic stuff. Like there's no Stairway to Heaven in here. It's kind of like the Bangles and the Ramones.
It's some pretty straightforward four on the floor rock and roll.
There's not a lot of but it's better than mine, so I shouldn't say this. But compared to like Nirvana or Soundgarden, or Mudhoney even, there didn't seem to be a lot of musical prowess in this band, but they got away with what's the
enthusiasm.
Yeah, just the fuck yeah, we're playing our shit, fuck you, like this is, we're getting it done. And that I really enjoyed. Like it felt like it did feel like a demo album almost, that some mate had given you of check out this band. And it had high points, and then it had quite a bit of mediocre stuff. But that was still all right if you were into it. And it's a tough one because I guarantee you that 93% of our listenership will not have heard this album. So it's a hard one to review knowing that people wouldn't have heard it.
Why would that make a difference?
Which was me 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
People are probably tuning in because they have heard it. They want to go, oh, what do they think? Oh, I want to hear more about it. What do
these two fuckwits think? Oh, what are they talking about? Gay sex? I'm out. And then a couple of guys are like jerking off over your voice. And that's our listenership.
Well, there'll be people tuning in for the gay sex and then hearing about, they're on about the band now.
Oh, they're talking about music again?
Oh, boring.
Talk about dicks and fannies.
Well, are you done yet? Are you done having your stupid opinion?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this record. I think it's great. And listening to it again, I didn't realize how good it sounded. Like, the production's big. Those guitars are thick. Mm-hmm. Those drums are pounding. That bass clugs along. I love it. Mm-hmm. Vocals, I love the screamy, girly vocals. Awesome. Chick's got attitude in this band.
Mm.
And they don't sound like a girl band. They just sound like a band that rocks hard to me. And that's what they talked about. They didn't want to be thought of as a girl band. They just wanted to be treated as a band. And I think it's fantastic. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it.
Great. How were you introduced to L7?
Well, I was an enormous Faith No More fan, and L7 opened for them and came to my direction that way. And I saw that Danita Sparks, singer of the band, played a flying V, which I thought was cool as fuck. And I got their record but basically they opened for Faith No More. Faith No More said they were cool. Faith No More wore their t-shirt and she played a flying V. I was like, oh, can't go wrong.
Sold.
And I was right.
Did you then go on? Was this the introduction album? Did you buy this one?
Yep.
Or okay, and then others, or just this one?
Just this one.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened?
I've heard bits of the other stuff. I'm just going, not as good.
Yeah, not produced by old BVig.
Nah. Their fortunes waned after this album. There was a lot of drugs and silliness, and budgets got smaller, and albums got smaller, and recordings didn't sound as good, and the songs weren't as good. I don't think the occasional, like, you listen and go, oh, this has got some good stuff, but the song's just not pulled together properly.
Yeah, see that for me feels like this album. So you could kind of say this album.
I'd say with this record that some of it sounds like some pretty rudimentary playing, particularly in the drums, where it's nicely recorded, cool sounding drums, but the parts are beginners level.
Yeah, but that's kind of songwriting too. Like there's songs like Pretend That We're Dead is great. Wargasm's actually a bit of fun, but it's overly simple. I'm trying to think of what the fucking song was called.
It's also kind of punk rock, simple, simplicity.
Oh, yeah. But there was one
we
song
can't play our instruments punk. Yeah.
Actually, there was a couple of songs that sounded like, okay, we've created this in 3 minutes in the studio. I've got a riff, and I'm singing along, and I'm singing the same riff, and it just sounded like really quickly slapped together. As you say, that is punk rock, but it's also like if you and me and fucking somebody else gets together and we have 10 minutes, we could write a song. Is it going to be a good one? Probably not. Should we put it out to the world? Yeah, probably not. But we could record it well.
Yeah.
So should you do it, is what I'm saying.
I enjoy all this album from beginning to end, even though some of it's not as strong as others, but it's all quite passable for me. Like the stuff where it's getting a bit rudimentary and a little bit... if it was played better, it would be better. Yeah. I don't know how to say that any better, but if they had a different drum beat, this would elevate it. If they did something a bit more with it, it would be elevated. And it wouldn't be hard to elevate it, but it's all good, I think.
It's the old saying, you can have a bad guitarist and it's like, oh, the guitarist is having a bad one. But if and the singer can have a bad night, the bassist can have a bad night, but if the drummer sucks, well, then the band sucks.
Yeah.
So they had a better drummer.
Yeah, the drummer, I did feel was a bit of a weak link in the band. But, you can have a band like Van Halen and a lot of the songs fucking suck. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah, but I mean, for you said like you heard this back in the heyday and it was recommended by Faith No More, so you bought this album back in the day, so let's say 93 or 94, and you loved it. But then you're saying, oh, you heard their other albums and it wasn't as good. Now, did you listen to those other albums back in the day and they sucked? Or are you listening to them now? Because I feel like this is an album, if I'd been listening to it in 94, I'd be all over it now, saying, oh, this is a classic album, kind of like you are. But listening to it for the first time now, you don't have those, I don't know, the rose-tinted glasses of nostalgia like I seem to have on albums like Beck and Silverchair's Neon Ballroom. Listening to them now, not amazing, but I love them because I grew up with them, So this might be a bit of that for you.
Well, I revisited this after not listening to it in a while and really loved it, but had a great week listening to it. But it's, back in the day in 1992 was a different world where you had to pay money to listen to music and didn't really have much, to be honest. And it was, you kind of had to choose what you wanted quite wisely, And there was just, I could get another L7 or I could try this. And that song's really good on that new album. And I haven't heard that other L7 album. So I'm going to go with this other album. And that's just kind of happened over and over and over again, really.
And then you spent, And I feel like this album would have been pushed off the back of, the single was Pretend That We're Dead, right? Like that's anybody listening to the album will go, that's the hit. Right.
Yeah, and Everglade and Slide and
see, that doesn't really, those don't stick in my head. Pretend that they're great songs. Maybe it's because I knew it beforehand, but that's the one. Whereas if I was the man sitting at my desk going, right, what are we sending to radio? That's the easy choice.
Yeah, Pretend We Did. Great guitar line. Really cool, interesting effect on the lead guitar. I'm not sure what they're doing there.
It's the Pixies, isn't it, though? They're just playing the Pixies. Then again, Nirvana.
They're all that kind of, they all came out of that mold. They're all that punk rock and different versions of it.
Orgasm, 1, 2, 3.
It's like Nirvana. Nirvana. I mean, I hate to say nice things about Dave Grohl, but Nirvana wouldn't have been good without that backing section of Dave Grohl. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dave Grohl brought a lot of life to some pretty simple kind of songs.
Yeah, I mean, it was the three of them together, though. Old Chad Channing. Let's not forget the Chad. And I'm not talking about, that awesome world-changing little city that popped up in, was that in Seattle? The Chad?
I have to say, Chris Novoselic was an awesome bass player that brought a lot of excitement to Nirvana songs that perhaps, the guitar playing was pretty simple, but the drums and the bass were really elevating things.
Oh, yeah. Rhythm section and the way it was,
It was more Kurt's voice than his guitar, you know what I mean? And it was the melodies. I
don't know. It's all together. It's a full package.
Yeah, I mean, it all works together. Maybe if the guitar was more complicated in Nirvana, it would have fucked it up, but it gave space to the bass.
We've done Bleach, and we didn't talk about Chad Channing. So the songs obviously held up with that lesser drumming. If that album had been done with Dave, or maybe it would have been even better, I guess.
It would have been better, because those drums, we did complain about those drums being a bit repetitive and not really suiting not accentuating the right bits and not really playing the song. And, Dave Grohl would come up with something that would, be a memorable moment on the drums, hook on the drums. Yeah.
Yeah.
That said, fuck Dave Grohl. Yeah. Foo Fighters
are making his money now. Yeah. That's right. You'll go and see them. You love them.
No, I won't. I fucking hate them. God, it drives me nuts.
Have we done any Foo Fighters? Oh, I'm going to lay that on you next week then.
Colour in the Shape, you dork. Can't you remember we did Colour in the Shape?
No, look, we've done so many episodes and,
yeah,
I only pay so much attention. Yeah, I'm a memory at my age. Hey, fucking hell. I had someone the other day, and constant listeners, you'll understand that we're old cunts, but we're not that old. So I'm in my 40s. I'm 43. And I was at the dentist the other day, and the fucking dentist says to me, "Oh, at your age, your teeth are really good." And I was like, fuck. That's the first time anybody had said to me, "Well, at your age, you're doing pretty good at your age." Ah, fuck off.
Has a young person called you sir yet?
Oh, all the fucking time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little cunts.
I look at them like, fuck off. When did this happen?
Fucking, yeah. What are you talking about? Yep. I just avoid mirrors.
You're at McDonald's and some kid goes, "Oh, excuse me, sir." And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Fuck off. I'm eating my Happy Meal. Leave me alone. I want the toy. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't let the grey hairs of my beard fool you.
That's it. Do you think what's wrong with the world now? You probably don't know this, but when you order a Happy Meal now, you have to choose between a toy or a book.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What's the book about? Calories, fat in your arteries.
Usually a Disney tie-in or whatever the toys are, or a
downloadable book.
No, it's actual book, like foldable pages.
Who's gonna? Yeah. What do you do? Nonsense.
It takes I'd rather the toys fit a lot easier into my blank white van that I drive around. It's hard to entice kids into your van with a book.
Oh God! Don't you tell me off about pedophile
Allegedly, I do. Hey, you cut that out.
It was a sad moment for me when I saw healthy choices on the McDonald's menu. I was like,
do you want some fruit slices?
Yeah. Fuck off. Fruit slices with your hamburger.
I want
condensed fat sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pricks.
At least they haven't got the veggie burgers there yet. The veggie burgers are everywhere else.
Oh God.
McDonald's holding tight. So is KFC. KFC's keeping it real. Well, as real as their chicken is, I suppose. I heard the conspiracy theory that I heard was Kentucky Fried Chicken had to rebrand to KFC because it's not actually chicken. So
I heard it was because fried had negative connotations. They were getting away from that.
Moving along swiftly.
I believe there is chicken in KFC. I'm fairly certain.
Well, it's chicken-ish. It's
because occasionally you get an exploded abscess inside the drumstick. So I assume it is.
Allegedly, yeah. And there was that one kid that allegedly got the instead of a chicken nugget, it was just like a deep fried chicken head.
Were you there that time that I got the exploded abscess in a drumstick?
No. Oh, throw my mouth a little bit.
Oh, well, I don't know what it was exactly, but that chicken had didn't have a happy life, I don't think.
So it might have just been some hot oil inside the chicken or something that burst in your mouth.
I think that chicken had been picked and had gotten awful and its leg was half hanging off and someone at the factory went, oh, fuck it, throw it in.
Uh-huh.
and it fried up and just
nice. So did it taste funky or did something just burst in your mouth?
I'm trying to remember what happened after that.
Oh,
quite a long time.
Yeah.
You're
just such a whimsical storyteller, and the words just flow off your tongue.
Here's a great setup. I forget what happened at the end.
Yeah, it sounds more like my story's fucking out. Don't worry about it.
This is reality. This was a few years ago.
It's okay.
I remembered the first bit. That's pretty good for my age. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing all right, sir.
Yeah.
What happened to this band, man? So the four chicks.
Oh, they split up and get back together and that kind of thing. And Danita went solo for a bit, and it was.
Did any of them die, drug overdose, murder, any of that?
The original drummer, a male, died at the age of 53, but that's about all the detail I got.
Suspicious at his age.
Yeah. They did have a very controversial moment that everyone talks about, which is that they were playing Reading Festival and they had bad sound and they were getting booed and throwing mud at them. They reckon they couldn't hear themselves in the monitor and getting frustrated. And Danita pulled her tampon out while on stage and threw it in the audience and then started throwing mud at the audience. And then I think they walked off.
Right. Sounds like there's a health issue there. It doesn't seem hygienic.
Health and safety issue. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, throw mud at me, that's okay. Throw some blood at me, I'd be a little more concerned. But oh well, she's caught up in the moment, I suppose.
That's rock and roll. That's rock and roll.
That's just this rock and roll throwing feminine hygiene products.
Well, we got less than 6 minutes left here, so like skippability. What are you skipping?
No, I think it's pretty listenable all the way through, mate. I don't have to. Honestly, I don't have to skip anything. If I'm putting this on, I'm in the mood to just let it roll.
Yeah, me too. Everything's great. Some are stronger than others, but good Lord. Great album. Good work, girls.
It is down to Butch. I feel like Butch had a lot to do with arranging and tones and all the rest of it. Like watching a few live videos on the tubes, it wasn't much to write home about, really. It was a bit.
I think Butch did bring a little bit of magic to the band. He was a good. So we've done that. I'm not going to skip anything.
It's too short. 37 minutes. You're in, you're out. You know, it wasn't a problem. It doesn't take up too much time in your day.
Is it 37 minutes?
It is. Yeah.
11 songs. And 37 minutes, 44 seconds. Good work, girls. See, when women put their minds to it, they can actually achieve certain things. Not as good as men, obviously.
Well, before we...
But...
let's rate it
solid effort.
Rate it. What do you rate this bitch? Sorry, shouldn't use that. We're talking about a girl band.
I'm going to give this cunt 9 tampons out of 10. Yeah.
Wow. 9. All right.
It's a solid 8.5, isn't it? It's verging on a 9. It's yeah. So
are you 8.5 or 9?
You can't have half a tampon, so I'm going for 9 tampons. Yeah, I'm rounding the tampon up. Yeah.
What did you give Nevermind? That must have been a 9.
We haven't done Nevermind.
Oh, we haven't. Hey, we did Bleach. Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Look, I'll give it a 7. You know, I'm tough on these things.
Oh, high ratings for Brad.
7. It's a 7 for an L7. All right? Keeping it simple there. What do you think the L stands for? Or what's L7 mean?
It's an old slang for square.
Oh, is it?
I've also heard it's a variation of 69 as well. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah. L7 square. All right. You could think chick band, there'd be some, like, not to offend anybody, lesbian connotations there, but maybe I'm, too misogynistic.
As a feminist, I have to say, congratulations, L7. You're doing it good. That is proud.
You're in, from Pointless and Confused, both scores above 5, feeling pretty good about yourselves, and I think because of it, after you hear this episode, call your manager and get back on the live circuit. Go do another tour off the back of this podcast. You'll make it this time.
Yeah, this is a solid 1 in the pink, 2 in the stink, isn't it? Like,
yeah. Just keep everything that comes out from below your waist. Just keep it there on stage with you. Okay, we'd really appreciate it.
Apparently, at the concert, she didn't have a belt. She didn't have a belt for some reason. She couldn't afford one or something, so she actually used duct tape to keep her pants up.
Well, see, that's okay.
And so she had to fight through the duct tape to get to a tampon. So there was
okay. Yeah. I think we've said the T word
she
enough
put
for me.
It wasn't like a simple thing. She had to put a lot of effort in to get in there. So I think we're going to...
That's real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort to get in there.
Yeah. So she had time to think to herself, maybe it's not a good idea. But she kept going. So I got to give her a thumbs up for that as well.
Right.
Yeah. Fight through the stupidity. Fight through the guilt and get to that stupidity. That's what I say.
I reckon what if it had just like landed on the monitor and then like they left the stage, like it didn't make it to the crowd and nobody wants to pick that up.
What if you weren't looking and you had your mouth open and it just went right in there?
Can't be any worse than that. What was that fucking band that chick pissed all over that dude's face? I think we've talked about this already. Holy shit.
He volunteered, got up there, laid down, knew what she was doing, and he waited for it.
Fucking fire hydranted on him, man.
And then he went, woohoo! Yeah.
Looked like he was fucking drowning, dude.
Best day of his life, let's face it.
It's like when, people jump into a swimming pool off the side. They hold their nose so water doesn't go up their nose. This guy just got like a facial enema from her.
Girls are gross.
In and out.
This is how you get cooties, hanging out with girls. Woo! Anyway, another perfect episode, Brad. Don't you think?
Well, it's another episode.
Perfection.
We will see you around the music aisles.